The movie begins with a scene in Ed and Lorraine Warren's home, where Lorraine had a vision and an encounter with a demon named Valak. Now we go back in time to 1952. In the Abbey of St. Carta, Romania, two nuns are walking in a tunnel full of crosses. They reach a locked door that reads, "God ends here." They seemed afraid of something sinister. One nun enters the room and the other one starts praying outside. The nun comes out and tells the other nun not to provide a vessel for the evil to escape. Suddenly, she is pulled inside by something evil. The other nun runs from there, but the malevolent entity follows her. With no other option left, to prevent the evil from taking her soul and escaping, she hangs herself. A few days later, a delivery man named Frenchie discovers the nun. The Vatican is informed about the incident. Since the incident is out of normal, they send a priest and a young nun to investigate the matter. The Vatican chose Sister Irene because of her visions. Father Burke and Irene ask Frenchie to take them to the abbey. In the middle of their journey, the horses don't want to move further, because they can also sense evil. The whole abbey is surrounded by crosses, to keep the evil from leaking outside. When they arrive at the abbey, the nun's body is sitting upright, but Frenchie swears that he didn't place her like that. Somehow it moved on its own. Next, Irene and Burke give a proper burial to the nun. There was something unusual. The blood spilled from the nun is still fresh after several weeks. Father Burke meets the abbess, but there is something unusual about her. She seems to know everything about the visitors, and doesn't show her face. Since the day is ending, Burke and Irene decide to stay at the convent, while Frenchie decides to go back to his home. Just before going out of the abbey, Frenchie sees the dead nun. He tries to call her, and she goes away, but suddenly the nun drops from above and starts to attack Frenchie. Frenchie picks up a cross from the ground, and as soon as he does that, the evil stops following him. Irene has been having many visions since childhood, all of which end with one thought: Mary points the way. Later in the night, Burke wakes up to the sound of music. While looking, he sees a boy running outside, leading him toward the cemetery. Burke sees a boy named Daniel, from one of his previous cases. A snake comes from his mouth and comes towards Burke. Moving back, Burke falls into a grave and is trapped inside a coffin. The soil above him fills automatically without leaving any trace. Meanwhile, Irene wakes up to a wind noise. She goes to look and something starts following her. Irene sees a shadow moving across the walls dressed like a nun. Suddenly, it reveals itself in the mirror and breaks it. Irene realizes something is wrong and looks for Father Burke. As soon as Irene reaches the cemetery, all the bells start to jiggle. Now Irene can't tell which one is being rung by Burke. At the same time, Irene has a vision of Burke's grave. With the help of the vision, she is able to locate it. She starts to dig, but suddenly something comes behind Father Burke and starts to pull him down. Irene is able to rescue him just in time. Now they are convinced that something evil is roaming the abbey. Inside the grave, they find some old books of dark magic.